I attempt to avoid that, but I assume it is unavoidable. You recognize, I cannot try this for all time, I've been doing it in view that I become 21. As you circulate into your 80s, you are saying, hi there, this is enough. A lifestyle-shattering tragedy has changed Robert Redford in ways nobody may want to have imagined. As the long-lost actor strategies his 90th birthday, the weight of private loss and difficulty bears heavily on him. Beneath his glamorous picture and celebrated profession lies a tale of deep sorrow and persistence. What challenges has he confronted behind the curtain? What occasions have fashioned this beloved Hollywood legend into the person he's today? Join us as we discover the untold struggles and quiet strength of Robert Redford, revealing the heartbreaking reality of his existence. And it ended up being one of the maximum exciting relationships I've ever had. A life marked with the aid of tragedy and strength. Robert Redford is a call that has lengthily been associated with Hollywood fulfillment, charm, and charisma. For a long time, people have trendy his performances in conventional movies like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting. But in the back of the reputation lies a tale filled with private tragedy and courage. As Redford approaches his 90th birthday, we reflect on the struggles and losses that fashioned him into the man he became and influenced his view on life and fame. His lifestyles became no longer pretty much as many triumphs at the large display screen. It was additionally about heartbreak and personal demanding situations. He changed into born on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, to Charles Redford, who worked as a milkman before becoming an accountant, and Martha Hart, who supported her son's desires. His early years appeared promising, but tragedy struck whilst he became handiest 18. In 1955, his mother Martha handed away, a loss that deeply affected him. He later admitted that he regretted taking her as a right at some point of his adolescence, a regret that stayed with him for years. Martha's death came after headaches following the beginning of twin girls who tragically did now not continue to exist. Despite scientific advice to avoid some other pregnancy, she wanted a larger circle of relatives. Sadly, her dedication led to a blood ailment that ultimately claimed her life when Redford became nonetheless a teenager. Her demise left a full-sized void in his life and marked the begin of a sequence of personal hardships that could follow him for the duration of his existence. After his mother's demise, he struggled with feelings of grief and isolation. He observed consolation inside the arts, which in the end put him on the course to Hollywood. However, his adventure to stardom was a ways from clean. As a teen, he'd become rebellious and often found himself in trouble. He were given concern in petty theft and risky behaviors like drag racing. During this time, there have been encounters with the regulation, along with an arrest for having stolen jewelry. He later defined this second as a "be careful" call that made him more decided to show his existence round. Despite those demanding situations, he managed to earn a sports activities scholarship to the University of Colorado, in which he joined the baseball team. However, his passion for artwork soon outweighed his interest in sports. Unfortunately, his newfound freedom at university led him down a troubling direction. He commenced consuming closely, which cost him his scholarship and forced him to drop out of faculty. This failure, however, marked any other turning point in his life. Determined to find a new route, he moved to Europe, wherein he studied painting. The experience broadened his perspective and gave him a renewed sense of motive. He soon hurried back to the United States to pursue acting, a selection that would all the time trade the direction of his life. Even although his journey wasn't easy, his courage through hard times made him a lasting Hollywood superstar. What worry did he face in his marriage? Heartbreak after heartbreak. While the world well known him, Robert confronted deep struggles in his family life that went beyond the spotlight. In 1958, he married Lola Van Wagenen. The younger couple soon confronted a heartbreaking tragedy when their little one son, Scott, died from illness. The loss was crushing, particularly as they had been already facing economic demanding situations. Bradford later referred to as this, one of the darkest times of his existence. Despite this pain, he and Lola leaned on every other and decided to preserve building their family. They went directly to have 3 greater children named Shauna, Jamie, and Amy. However, their problems were a long way from over. Their second son, Jamie, was born prematurely and had severe respiratory troubles caused by hyaline membrane disorder, which positioned his lifestyles at risk. Against the chances, Jamie survived, but the enjoy left deep scars at the own family, and Redford carried the one's concerns with him for years. Watching his children conflict had become one in every of his hardest challenges as a father. He once shared that nothing hurt him extra than seeing his youngsters in pain. This was particularly authentic with Jamie, who faced greater health troubles in his teenage years, a persistent contamination that later brought about cirrhosis of the liver. At 31, he underwent a liver transplant, which brought desire to the own family. But headaches pressured him to have some other transplant. The pressure and worry weighed heavily on Redford and his circle of relatives. Even as a busy actor and director, he changed into always there for his son during the filming of Quiz Show in New York. He flew to Omaha every weekend to be by means of Jamie's aspect inside the clinic. Jamie sooner or later recovered and built a meaningful existence as a filmmaker and environmental suggest. His marriage to Lola Van Wagenen changed into, once visible, as one in all Hollywood's strongest. They married earlier than he had become a worldwide famous person, and labored difficult to construct a life collectively. But their dating turned into shape through both personal tragedies and his stressful profession in Hollywood. The early years in their marriage had been hard. With only $300 of their name, they have been determined to create a solid life. However, dropping their first baby, Scott, left emotional scars that by no means surely healed. As his reputation grew, he changed into regularly far from home for a long term, leaving his wife to deal with their home and the kids' fitness issues on my own. Lola placed her very own desires apart to help the family, which placed a heavy burden on her shoulders. Later, his profession reached new heights, with main films like The Natural and Out of Africa, maintaining him away from home for months. This distance strained their courting, and in 1985 they separated after 28 years of marriage. In a 2001 interview, he defined their selection to divorce as mutual, however complete, of remorse. Though their marriage ended, Redford and Lola remained close pals, bonded by way of their deep love for his or her children. Reflecting on their time collectively, he expressed his sorrow not most effective over the separation, however, additionally over its impact on their own family. What deeper heartbreak did Robert Redford endure when tragedy struck his children? A father's worst nightmare. While the public sees the celebrity of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, a man who has finished fame and fortune, the truth of Redford's lifestyles is a long way more complex than the glitz and glamour he portrays on display. Behind the achievement, he has confronted deep personal struggles and losses that shaped his journey. One of the maximum heartbreaking moments in his life befell in 2020 whilst his son Jamie died at 58 from liver cancer. This loss turned into a heavy blow for Redford, who had already persisted many painful moments in his life. The bond among father and son became sturdy, built on their love for storytelling and protecting the environment. Jamie, a filmmaker and environmental activist, left in the back of a legacy of desire and ardor. Even after surviving 2 liver transplants and many health battles, his existence turned into cut brief, leaving a gap in his father's heart that might in no way be crammed. Redford, who valued his privacy, selected to grieve quietly with his family at his ranch in Utah. When his circle of relatives additionally asked for privateness all through this difficult time. Surrounded by using family and nature, he spends his days taking part in the employer of his grandchildren, working on conservation tasks and quietly reflecting on a lifestyle that has been something but regular. His tale is a testimony to the human spirit's ability to bear, adapt, and find meaning even in the face of adversity. For many, he's going to constantly be the dashing Sundance child, the captivating Jay Gatsby, or the fearless investigative journalist in All the President's Men. But for those who recognize his story, he is a great deal greater than that. He is a person who has confronted life's hardest challenges with grace, a father who stood by way of his children in their darkest hours, and a pal who valued loyalty specially else. As he techniques the twilight of his life, he stands as a symbol of power, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming sorrow, there is continually a course to redemption and peace. As he procedures his 90th birthday, his effect goes a ways past movies. He has made a lasting impact on Hollywood, impartial movies, and environmental reasons. Now, quietly marking a brand new year at his nonviolent Utah ranch, he leaves in the back of a tale of bravery and dedication to the causes he cares about. His existence, full of both happiness and challenges, is a reminder of the energy of the human spirit and will encourage destined generations. Final review. What are your thoughts on the tragedies Robert Redford has continued? What more should his hardships monitor approximately his existence? Share your thoughts with us within the comments section. Remember to love, proportion, and subscribe for greater. Also click the subsequent video showing to your screen. You will experience it.